We got some post-track day maintenance to do, and it's cold as hell out here. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me today. So today we're going to be doing some basic maintenance on the car and installing some more PRL goodies. And for the first time, I'll be using my brand new quick jack. Super excited to get to use that. I got my frame extensions here, which you'll need if you have a Civic Type R. So let me get that all set up and we'll get started. All right, car is up in the air. First time ever using this quick jack. My car is lower than stock height. A little bit, not by much, but it is. And even though it's not that much lower than stock height, it was a bit of a challenge getting the quick jack with the frame extensions underneath the car. So quick tip for those of you, if you're going to get a quick jack for yourself, it's hugely convenient to get one of these, but if your car is lowered, you're probably going to have to raise the car a little bit to get the quick jack under it. And the way that you do that is there's a rear jack point hidden. So there's the exhaust. It's hidden right here. So there's a plastic panel that I pulled off. It's just two clips. And then there's the rear jack point right there. So you can use that to prop the car up a little bit so you can get the quick jack under there no problem. It's a bit of a pain and extra step, but once you're in the air, it's all good. That's what the panel looks like. It's part of the rear diffuser. Two clips and it's out. All right, so I know there's a lot of questions out there as to how often you should change oil on your Type R. It really depends on your use case. Okay, for me, I typically do an oil change after every other track day, or if I have two track days that are relatively close together, I'll do two track days, or I'll do one track day and some city driving, and I'll do an oil change after that. So it just depends on where my track days land and how hard I'm driving the car in a short amount of time. In this case, we've done some street driving on this oil and one track day. It's probably overkill, guys, but you know what? I'd rather be safe than sorry. It's an expensive project. I want to make sure it stays running good. As far as oil is concerned, because I know that's a lot. There's a lot of questions on that. I use the AMSOIL Dominator 5W20. I'm not sponsored by them. I've used Motul in the past, the 0W20. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. I've sent my oil out for analysis plenty of times, and especially in the FK8 when the car was overheating like crazy, and I've never had an issue with the oil. Okay, so this stuff holds up very, very well under high temperatures. So does a Motul 300V. So this is what we're going to stick with. So taking a look under the engine here, first step, you can check the oil, but I checked it a few days ago. I'm not going to bother with it now. So you're going to pull the cap off. So untwist that. Okay. As a good habit, I like to put this right where the hood latch is. That way you do not forget to put that cap back on before you drive the car, because that would not be a good thing. Okay. It's interesting. There's some oil residue here, which would lead me to believe there might have been some oil blow-by. Probably need a catch can or something. Okay. Anyway, so cap is off. Now we go underneath the car. Okay, so now we are underneath the car. This is a splash guard here. Your downpipe and your rear engine mount are also right there. It's just a couple of screws. So flathead right there, flathead right there, here, and here, and then two, well, there should be three Phillips head screws if you want to take it out all the way. There's another one there, but it's missing. So I'll go ahead and get that done. Okay, and there were a couple of Phillips head screws right here that you need to undo. There's a slide clip here, so once you get on all the bolts undone, that way it won't fall in your face. So you just slide the backwards here. It should come off pretty easy. Okay, so now the pan cover is off. This is the bolt you're interested in right here. Okay, and it should just be a 17 mil socket. Perfect, it is. So loosen that, and then we'll get an oil pan underneath it. You know, it's really difficult doing all this one-handed. Can't get any leverage. Oh, there we go. Luckily that wasn't over torqued. Thank you, me. And then so what I'd like to do is get the pan underneath the drain bolt at this point, and then we'll loosen the oil filter, which is right here, once that's all drained out. All right, so I got my oil pan underneath. Hopefully it's in the right spot. Might need to reposition it as it breaks loose. All right, this should already be loose from you breaking it loose earlier. I do recommend using a glove on the bolt removal hand. It's gonna come loose real quick, so you got to be kind of quick with the fingers here to get that bolt before it drops. There we go. Success. Boy, that barely made it into the pan. Don't let anybody tell you that a couple inches doesn't make a big difference. Sorry, kids. All right, so we're gonna let that drain out. In the meantime, we're gonna loosen this oil filter. Just loosen it, okay? Just to help it vent out a little bit, so I'm not unscrewing it all the way. That should only be hand tight, guys. If this is cranked down, then whoever did your oil change before probably didn't know what they're doing. That'll take a few minutes. I'll let that finish up. Okay, so it's getting close. It's getting pretty close to being done draining out. So at this point, I've got the oil pan moved over, so it's still catching the last little bit of the oil. And now I'm going to undo the oil filter all the way. Again, using the glove hand. You can see that starting to leak down. This can be a little bit messy if you're not ready for it. That's why I always recommend wearing a glove. Okay, then we'll just let that finish draining out. All right, let's talk about oil filters, because this is a point of contention with some people too. I stick to OEM. I stick to OEM filters. They work great. They're consistent quality. I know what I'm getting. I've used the K&N performance oil filters before. Those work fine too, but you know what? I like using OEM. Until somebody can convince me that I should absolutely be using something other than OEM, this is what I'll continue to use. And I like it because it comes with a new crush washer, which you should absolutely replace every time. All right, so again, it's probably overkill, but there's the oil drain bolt. I like to clean it off. Just some brake cleaner. Okay, just wipe it off with a rag. And then what I'll do is I'll get back underneath the car and clean up as much as possible any of the oil residue before I put this back on. So there's a new crush washer. That goes on the drain bolt right there. Let's go back underneath the car and clean up. All right, so we're back underneath the car. Just gonna try and do my best here to clean up. This is where the oil filter goes, okay? And then back here where the drain bolt was, clean that up as best as you can. And then get the drain bolt just hand tightened for now. Okay, clean it up. Okay, and then what you're going to want to do, there's the new oil filter. You want to get the gasket, the rubber gasket along the edge, lubricated. So you can take new or used oil, it's fine. It's just to get it primed to screw back on and properly mate with the threads and the metal surface. So you just get along the edges there. Make sure you don't leave any dry spots. Okay, that should be pretty good. Let's give the area another quick wipe down. Can never be too clean, guys. Can never be too clean. And then get that threaded in there. And it's just hand tight, guys. Twist this on. And that's all it should be. I mean, just as tight as you can get it with your hand is all it should be. Tighten this bolt. Should be 36 pounds. Okay, that should be good. Oil filter is back in. Just double check everything. Nothing's leaking. Everything is clean. So the only step we're skipping for now is we're not putting this back on because we're going to do transmission later. So everything down there is done. Okay, just a quick note, guys. If you're doing this yourself, just be aware the Type R will take a little more than 5 quarts. Okay, so you're gonna need 6 of these. 6 of these because you'll use like 5 and change, like 5 1/4 or something like that. What you'd normally do is or what I normally do is I'll put in 5 full quarts, measure the oil, see how close we are, and then add as needed. Now, I have the Hell oil cooler, so I'm going to need more like 6 quarts. But we're still going to do the same procedure, fill it with 5, check the level, and fill as needed. Okay, that's 5 quarts of oil, but I know I'm gonna need closer to 6, but let's check the oil level. All right, so oil level looks good. What is this hair right now? And it looks like I just got ran over with my own tire. Anyways, oil level is good. I added a little more than the 5 quarts. It's good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and put the cap back on. Get this off of here. Okay, put the cap back on, which I left right here. Okay, and then I'll fire up the car for about 30 seconds or so, let the oil settle into the engine, and then remeasure just to make sure everything is where it needs to be. Let's start the car, let it run for about 30 seconds. Oh, climbing into a race car is not easy. Okay, here we go. Okay, just let it run for a few seconds. 10, 15 seconds, 20 seconds. Okay, good enough. All right, now we recheck oil levels. All right, well, glad I checked the oil level because it was definitely low. So that's exactly why, this is Exhibit A, why once you put oil in the engine, you run it for about 15, 20 seconds to let the oil settle, get all the air out of the system if there is any, or any gaps, and then add oil as you need it. So it makes sense because I barely added more than 5. And I know with the oil cooler that I have, I need closer to 6. So we're going to go ahead and crack another quart open here. And we're about 1 quart short. This was an already open container. It was almost full. Not quite full, so we're going to use the rest of this and then remeasure. Because the dipstick, I should preface to say that the dipstick showed that it was on the minimum line for the oil. So from minimum to maximum, it's about 1 quart. This is a little less than 1 quart, so we should be good here. Okay, now we recheck the oil. All right, so the oil level is showing full, but I'm going to go ahead and cycle the engine again for another 10, 15 seconds just to make sure. No, nothing wrong with double and triple checking your work, guys. Definitely good practice to do. Let's try it now. Okay, should be good. Oh, it's a pretty far jump down from this quick jack. All right, recheck the oil. And it's it's just below the max line, just below it. So it needs a tiny bit more. So it seems like the estimate of 6 quarts with the oil cooler is pretty exact. So, oh well. Got to crack one more of these open, just top it off. Just a little bit more. That's probably good right there. Great success! What is this hair? Anyways, oil change is done. We'll work on the transmission fluid next. All right, had to take a little break there with the family, but anyways, we're back. So now we're gonna work on changing the transmission fluid. It's a little bit more involved, but nothing too crazy, okay? So we left the splash guard under the car off from the oil change. What we need to do now is take out this air box, and once we get some of this stuff out of the way, you'll have access to the top of the transmission, which is down below all this. So let's get started on that. All right, so air box is out. Give you guys a little further perspective so you see where I'm going here. Right down here, this guy right there is your transmission fill bolt, and that is just a 1/4 inch drive, so you can use that, plug that in there and take it out. All right, now that the bolt is out, airbox is out, the car is ready to be lifted and get underneath and drain the transmission fluid. So let's get the car lifted. Can tell you guys how nice it is to have a quick jack now. So nice. Tell you what, the room for error in this garage though. I am playing with small margins here. Gotta get that last latch. There it is. Yep, still clearing. Back it down. Okay, that is secure. All right, so hopefully you guys can see what I'm seeing, but that's the oil drain plug that we just used for the engine oil. Over here to the left of where the downpipe would be, this is your downpipe, or rather this is a front pipe. Right on the left of that, there's a drain plug for the transmission right here. Okay, so we're gonna loosen that, and then there's an overfill kind of breather valve, if you will, overfill valve right here. Okay, that we're gonna crack open as well. Actually, we're just gonna remove that nut once the transmission oil is all the way out of here. So let's go ahead and do that. So same as before, like we did on the oil change, we're going to go ahead and clean this up as good as we can. Wait till it's pretty much done dripping. Always make sure you use a brand new washer. So I put a new washer on here. Brand new crush washer on the transmission bolt. Screw that back into place. Like so. Okay, it should be good. Then we gotta crack this 10 mil loose. Okay, that is out, and we are now ready to put new transmission fluid back into the transmission. All right, so now we're back on top of the engine. So I got 3 bottles of this stuff. This is the relabeled, rebranded GM Synchromesh friction modified stuff. This stuff has been tried and true. I've used it on my FK8. It works fantastic with the synchros and the transmission in these cars. I will be switching from this at some point. More on that in the future. So stay tuned to watch for that. But for now, stock transmission, this is stuff I'm going with. So all you need to do, that little breather nut that we took out, the little 10 mil, that's all the way out. So we just pour these into the top of the transmission until it starts coming out of that little breather hole. And then once it slows down to a slow drip, plug it up and you're good to go. All right, so I got my long funnel here. All right, here we go. Transmission oil, good. Transmission oil definitely has a very particular scent to it. I will say that. Bottle number 2. Ooh, this one's kind of splashy. It does, you know what? It kind of smells like really sour grapefruit. Or, you know, the grapefruit, if you bite into a grapefruit that still has some of the, you know, the white rind on it still. It kind of smells like that a little bit. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below if you think transmission fluid smells a little bit like grapefruit. Maybe I'm just completely nuts. I probably am just completely nuts. All right, last bottle. All right, and right now I'm listening for the fluid underneath to start hitting the drain pan. Oh, there it goes. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it is definitely coming out. All right. Perfect. Okay. It's still dripping pretty good, so we're going to let that go for a bit. I am going to get a handheld wrench. Handheld socket wrench, rather, because I don't want to go crazy over torquing this 10 mil. Waiting for this to stop leaking. I'll tell you what, guys, I've been laying down here for a good solid 5 minutes. 5-8 minutes, something like that, and it is still going. All right, it's finally slowed down to a drip, to a slow-ish drip. It was a faster drip than this a couple minutes ago. So I like it where it's at. I'm going to put the plug back in. All right, here. There we go. All right. Tighten that down, not overly tight. Nothing crazy. Okay, good. Clean it up. Always tough getting in and around these little lines here. All right, now you can slide this drain pan out of the way, put the splash guard back on, button everything up, and we should be good to go. And again, that is only 32 foot-pounds. Okay, now the air box goes back in. Almost forgot, before we do the air box. All right, air box is back in. Everything is buttoned up. Checked everything, nothing is leaking. Car is lowered back on the ground. And that's it, guys. This is my basic after track day maintenance that I do on my Type R. Anyways, wanted to share this video with you guys in case you were wondering what I do, tracking my car as often as I do, what my procedure is and how I go about it, and the products that I use. I've been using this stuff for years at this point. I don't see any reason to switch now unless you change something. Spoiler alert. So anyways, that is it for today's video, guys. Let me know in the comments below if you feel like this was helpful for you. If you want to see more videos like this, I got the quick jack now, so I'm going to be doing a whole bunch more install videos in-house. So that is it for today. Thank you for watching. Until next time, stay hungry, stay fast, stay tuned. I'm Michael Baxi, and I'm out.
Okay, I've been working like 3 jobs. Probably why I never see ya. Probably why I never have time for the fake friends that won't be ya. Oh God, I've been running now. Up early when the sun is out. Not selling out my own soul, but those real ones, they coming out. Oh look who's reaching out. Old friends wanna feature now. They don't work, so they need it free. Ooh, you reaching out from the west side of that old town, but it's